Greetings of peace and hope. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you today on the occasion of the International Day for Peace, which is celebrated every year on the 21st of September, to raise awareness of the international community on the importance of peace and coexistence among and between people and nations. I would like to express my special gratitude to Ambassador Esther Waringa for her continuous and much appreciated efforts in organizing such a conference with such a distinguished group of participants, and certainly for extending to me an invitation to speak. I sincerely apologize for not being able to be with you in person, as I am currently outside Kenya, but looking forward to coming back to this lovely country. Distinguished participants, as you certainly know, the theme for this year's commemoration of the International Day of Peace is Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. While many would relate the recovery process to the notorious pandemic COVID-19 and its devastating socio-economic impacts that has had the world stumble in its response for long and has shown the fragility of humanity in the face of the pandemic attacks, the recovery also needs to reflect other global crises we are living through, such as the climate change crisis, the biodiversity loss crisis, and the pollution and waste crisis. Environment and peace are cross-cutting issues that are intrinsic to sustainable development. While natural resources are vital to achieving sustainable development, they are also increasingly acting as drivers of fragility, conflict, and violence. The growing demand for natural resources, together with environmental degradation and climate change, have led to increased conflicts between countries and communities over resources, access, and ownership. We indeed need to work on addressing these triple planetary crises and put our efforts to recover from them and provide the future generations with a light of hope for their future. Friends, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, launched an appeal for a global ceasefire, and the Security Council unanimously passed a resolution calling for member states to support a sustained humanitarian pause to local conflicts. The surge in stigma, discrimination, and hatred caused by misinformation and wrong assumptions and accusations surrounding the pandemic have cost humanity more lives instead of saving them. While the pandemic has been attacking humans with no discrimination to color, religion, or nationality, we humans have been discriminating against one another for the cause of the pandemic. Peace is one important pillar of the Sustainable Development Agenda, along with a focus on the people and the planet to live in prosperity. Another important element is partnerships that cannot be achieved without ensuring peace among people. While we must make peace with one another, we also need to make peace with nature and live in harmony with other creations of God the Almighty. Friends, the word peace appeared in the Bible 429 times in King James Version, while Matthew chapter 5 verse 9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." In Islam, one of the God's names according to the Quran is As-Salam, which means peace. And also in the Quran it says, "And peace it is until the breaking of the dawn." Engagement of faith-based organizations and faith leaders can be a tool for addressing peace and security challenges. This can be achieved through mediations, dialogue, and working towards one global goal to protect the creation of God, our one and only planet. Today, more than 80% of people in the world are associated with a religion or a spiritual community. However, many people in the world still lack access to even basic goods and services because of their religion, gender, origin, skin color, and so on. In this sense, the values of peace and tolerance are at the top concern for providing equal opportunities for sustainable livelihoods. Peaceful societies mean that everybody should have the right to access the same goods and services. Interfaith efforts can help resolve or avoid disputes in the most conflict regions in the world, as well as improve the conditions of millions in civil strife. The United Nations Environment Programme Faith for Earth initiative is contributing to ensuring that the sound stewardship of natural resources is a fundamental human value and responsibility. The Faith for Earth initiative was launched in November 2017 in response to the 2008 UN resolution to promote interreligious and intercultural dialogue, understanding, and cooperation for peace. Considering the increasing threat from environmental degradation and climate change to peace and human security, UNEP's Faith for Earth initiative addresses these universal concerns by building on the role of faith-based organizations to advance environmental stewardship and facilitate interreligious dialogue to achieve shared objectives of environmental protection and sustainable development. As a special program of the initiative, the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative was established as an interfaith multi-alliance focusing on tropical deforestation. The Faith for Forests Declaration calls for the protection of tropical forests and indigenous peoples' rights. At the Faith for Nature conference in October 2020, over 450 participants from 15 religions united to lay the foundation for interfaith collaboration for sustainable development. In their declaration called Our Sacred Commitment, participants called for establishing a Faith for Earth coalition as a global platform to enable faith groups to promote action and influence policy choices at multiple levels. We are launching national Faith for Earth programs in India, Lebanon, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Ethiopia. These countries are known for their religious diversity and they are characterized by notable religious heterogeneity. Ladies and gentlemen, to build back better, we need, as faith and religious institutions, to look inward to what we own and how we perform in terms of sustainability. As important as it is to preach behavior change, faith-based organizations can be the change themselves by greening the many and varied assets they own. Faith-based investment institutions are the fourth largest economic power on the planet. Faith-based organizations must divest from the dirty energy and put their wealth into investments that back a green and nature-positive future. Over 40 faith-based organizations with $1 billion in assets have already committed to divestment. But that is not enough. The economic power of faith turned into responsible investment, and the green economy can be a major driver of positive change as we recover better from the pandemic. Faith provides practical support to billions of people, especially in times of crisis. We are seeing this in action during the pandemic, as faith-based organizations around the world offer support, food, housing, donations, and medical services. Such charitable work is an important and admirable tenet of all faiths. It is time to focus the full transformative power of faith, the love, the respect, and the wisdom inherent in its teachings, onto creating a greener, fairer, and more sustainable and peaceful world. Thank you very much.